All right, I have here what I believe to be Howie Roseman's perfect birthday.
Okay. We should make this a one shot on Bo because I imagine this is going to be good.
Well, I don't know about that.
Yes.
I mean, you told me there wasn't much prep for the show today, but this was one of them, so I had to do something.
Yes.
What time do you think Howie gets up in the morning? You think he's like you? You think he's a 5 a.m.er?
Well, I'm 5:45 typically, but I think Howie's probably 6 a.m. I could be wrong. I'll ask him that.
Okay. Well, Howie Roseman wakes up at 5 a.m. To a news alert on his phone announcing that the Philadelphia Inquirer is ceasing operations. That's the 5 o'clock hour. At 6 in the morning, he gets a little morning workout in. Texts around with some national reporters, and he has some news here. Aaron Rodgers, on vacation, has suffered a career-ending injury at the hands of a dolphin. Okay, we move on to 7 a.m. Breakfast with the family. Everybody's wishing him happy birthday. It's a nice little event, and they've got SportsCenter on, and it comes across the bottom line. Drama at Ohio State. They have fired offensive coordinator Chip Kelly. We now get to 8 a.m. It's a little bit more of a normal time here, and he gets a phone call from Andy Reid wishing him happy birthday. He says, by the way, just for the record, you're the best general manager I've ever had. A few minutes later, Doug Peterson calls. He says happy birthday as well. And he says, and I know that I've said this before, but just again, I'm really sorry for asking you to draft Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. That's on me. I love you. All that good stuff. You're the best. Then the doorbell rings, and it's Jeffrey Lurie. Gives him a big old kiss on the forehead and says, I love you, Howie. You're like a son to me. And he hands him a present. It's a nicely wrapped box, and Howie opens the present, and he unwraps it, and it's a pen. It's like, what is this? And he's sort of confused, and Jeffrey's like, oh, I almost forgot. And he pulls it out, and it's a brand new contract.
Ooh.
And he says, here's your new contract. You are now the highest paid general manager in the league. Howie's very excited, although he's a little bit sheepish. He wants to know what the number is, right? Like, he's like, thank you, Jeffrey, but like, what's the number?
And who to tell?
And Jeffrey says, well, I'm not going to tell you the number, but let's just say I asked Thomas Dimitroff what would be fair, and that's the number that I gave you. We now get to 9 o'clock in the morning. Breaking news, two bits of breaking news. Tom Petty is alive. Actually, he's not dead. And WIP has gone bankrupt. 10 a.m. Press release from the desk of Roger Goodell at the NFL League office. In an effort to make sure that there are finally no true lulls in the NFL calendar, the league has officially decided to crown an official off-season champion in the first week of July. So they've got a big event coming. Officially, the off-season champions it'll count as a half Super Bowl, okay? And the Eagles are announced as a finalist for the trophy this season. They have also been awarded retroactively 3 off-season championships. So Howie Roseman is now a 2.5-time Super Bowl winning GM on his resume. We move to 11 o'clock, and
We should have led with this.
The call comes in from Joe Douglas. Obviously, you've heard about the Aaron Rodgers news. Joe Douglas loves Kenny Pickett, and he's willing to offer the Eagles Hassan Reddick in return. And Howie's like, well, I mean, I got to see if he's willing to play here. So he gets on the phone with Hassan Reddick's agent to work out the details. And the agent is actually sort of apologetic. He says, there's actually been a misunderstanding. All that crazy ask that I had for Hassan Reddick's, APY, was actually in yen. So
I don't know the conversion rate.
It's actually working out well for the Eagles.
Okay.
Howie signs off on the deal. Kenny Pickett for Hassan Reddick, and now the Eagles pass rush is in good shape. Time for lunch now at noon, but this is a working lunch. This is with Fernando Noriega, of the Eagles.
New director of strength.
Yes, and the good news is, Zach, for his birthday, the prototype is ready. Okay, Noriega unveils for Howie Roseman the world's first body de-aging machine. Brandon Graham, consummate team player that he is on hand to be the first one to try it out.
Awesome.
And the process takes about 20 minutes, 2 minutes per year that you want to de-age the body. Brandon Graham emerges.
I'll take that.
And it's clear that this thing works. He's the more limber, stronger, leaner version of himself, of his 26-year-old self.
Players, not to advance mankind.
Yeah, this is all. I mean, this is Howie's life work has been accomplished. This is a huge competitive advantage that the Eagles now have, and he immediately re-signs Deshaun Jackson, Jason Peters, Malcolm Jenkins, and for some reason, Stuart Bradley. Okay.
I don't think Stuart Bradley was getting in here. Okay.
Yeah. So the Eagles roster all of a sudden is in very good shape.
Yeah.
At 1 o'clock, using some of the money that he now has, Howie Roseman purchases a controlling stake in PHLY and fires Beowulf.
Why? No way.
At
Hope not.
At 2 p.m.
That took a morbid turn, Bo.
He walks past Vic Fangio in the hallway.
Yes.
And Vic's he's grumbling. It's like, Vic, what did you say? And Vic's like, just it makes me so angry that you know so much more about football than I do. Like, that's why I'm angry all the time. Then he gets a call at 3 o'clock from Chris Ballard. And Chris Ballard says you know what? He thought about it. He slept on it. He's finally willing to pay the asking price for James Bradbury. But then Joe Shane calls. Says he's interested in James Bradbury too. So now we got a classic bidding.
This is the best.
It's a classic bidding war. This is fantastic.
That's what you want.
Could not have worked out any better. And eventually the Eagles trade James Bradbury to the Giants for a fourth that can turn into a third if James Bradbury can play 50% of the snaps.
I like it. Good move.
4 o'clock, Jalen Hurts goes live on Instagram. And everybody's like, what is going on? This is incredibly out of character. And he's having a pool party with Nick Sirianni. Just the two of them. They're
everything's fine.
They're just hanging out.
Okay.
And Jalen's like, Eagles fans, I'm sorry. I woke up this morning. It only finally occurred to me how weird I've been. I'm so sorry. We're in good shape here. I love Nick. The offense is great. There's nothing to see here. All is well. Yeah. And in conjunction with that, Howie sends a reply text to Bill Belichick. And he says, thanks, but no thanks, Bill. I do not want to be set up with one of your girlfriend's cheerleader friends. I'm happily married. Thank you very much. 5 o'clock. 5 o'clock. He's home now. It's time to play a game of football in the yard with the kids. You know how he's got 4 kids, right?
Yes. Yep.
It's 2-on-2 because one of the kids has decided to sit out instead of playing in the game. Goes up on the balcony and is watching the game from binoculars, playing the role of Howie Roseman because that's much more fun. Mm-hmm. And so that's a nice heartwarming thing for Howie. 6 o'clock. Milton Williams has agreed to a discounted contract extension. That's very good. Philly Voice announces the end of its Eagles coverage. The NFL purchases ESPN, and he gets a call from George Clooney saying, Howie, your tequila is better than mine. 7 to 9. It's a nice dinner with his wife. He's able to turn the phone off. Michael Solomonov has come over to the house and is cooking a meal specifically for them. Gets the luxury of turning the phone off, gets to disconnect. Lovely time with the wife.
Drinking Fosforo, his mezcal.
There you go. 10 o'clock, turns the phone back on. The league has announced that the San Francisco 49ers have been stripped of a first-round pick after discovering that they tampered with Matt Pryor. And finally, it's 11 o'clock. It's ready for bed. Lays his head on the pillow, and he gets a text. Last thing before he sees before he falls asleep. Text from an NFL insider. Heard about some drama in Detroit. Sam Laporta might be available. And there you go. Starts again the next day.
The kicker was Sam Laporta.
Yeah. You know what? I couldn't think of a better kicker.
First off,
but that was the one hole in the roster that had not been addressed.
Your creativity never ceases to amaze me. Number one, well done. Number two, why are you being fired? I don't like that. That's he's buttressing you. He wants to give you a bigger platform. He's not dismissing you. But no, that's a good day. I think Howie would try to sneak in around the golf in there. He likes to golf this time of year, I imagine.
Okay.
But yeah,
I mean, it's a packed schedule, so it's hard to fit in around the golf.
It's a packed schedule. No, that's a good birthday.
I would say so.
That's a good way to ring in year 49.
We all silly like the mayor.